Hello, Alex. Real pleasure to meet you, and I really enjoyed the film Delivery Run. For anyone who's not seen the film yet, what is it about?
So, Delivery Run, it is a film about a food courier called Lee, who I play. And he's a food courier, so like I guess in the UK, Deliveroo, Uber Eats, in America, DoorDash kind of guy. And yeah, Lee, he's a bit of a, I guess he's a bit of a loner. He hasn't got many friends. He lives on his own. But he has ambitions to own a food truck. But back to reality, he owes a lot of money to this local gangster woman named Rebecca. And so he's scrambling to try and find the money all over town and see what he can do because he's got a limited time to get the money. But in the midst of this, he doesn't realize that he's going to face his biggest challenge, which is in the form of a snowplow truck driver who just won't leave him the hell alone. So he's got a lot to deal with. Yeah.
Now, the first thing I wanted to ask you about, and I don't know why I've got a bit obsessed about this, is the goldfish.
Yeah.
So there's the goldfish. It's in a bag of water on the dashboard. Now the heating is on, and constantly in the back of my mind is how does that fish not end up being parboiled by the end of the film?
He's a lucky fish, and a tremendous actor and very brave.
Well,
No
was it a
actor
goldfish or
required.
was it a piece of carrot?
No, it was we had I think we had actually about six different Reggies, six different fish. All had their own methods and ways of doing things. But yeah, we had several different ones and but none were harmed. All of them survived and all were great. So what happens in the movie is what happens in real life. Uh yeah, so I mean I said that he's a bit of a loner lead, but yeah, he does have this this co-pilot named Reggie who is his yeah who helps steer him through the film. So
So
that was great.
much of the film is or a significant amount of the film is set in the car itself, which is driving around. I guess
Yeah,
it's kind of on a low loader for a lot of the filming, but how much driving on heavily snowed roads did you do yourself?
I did a little bit. I mean, I can drive, but because we're working on such a low budget as well, all of those things we have to be careful of. So yeah, I did a little bit of drive it. Did I? I did drive the car a little bit, but I'm not going to take full credit. There was a great, you know, person who did a lot of the driving when it needed to be done. But yeah, could get probably quite sticky or icy, so to speak, on those
Yeah.
roads.
So although this is set in Minnesota, I think you shot this in Finland. So for
Yeah.
well, both Minnesota and obviously for Finland, as a Brit, how did you cope driving on the wrong side of the road?
Well, yeah, it's always funny. Is it the right side of the road or is it the is it the I always like to think like the left side is the right side, but the right side is the right side, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just a change of things, isn't it? You just got to be extra careful, I suppose. But um, but yeah, I did a bit of driving, but not a great deal because yeah, a lot of it we were also just capturing stuff kind of like late at night sometimes as well, and we had to kind of keep going back to ones, and kind of it wasn't like guerrilla filmmaking, but it was we had a limited time to get things done. So when we really had to focus in the stuff in the car, all the kind of exterior stuff we had mostly a driver doing it. But yeah, the stuff where it was kind of like close in on me in the car, we had on a yeah a loader or whatever it's called. So yeah, but yeah, you got to be extra careful, haven't you, as a Brit? Where else do they drive on the left hand side? Isn't it New Zealand?
Uh,
I can't remember.
well, yeah, I don't like driving abroad outside of the UK anyway, so I just don't
No,
do it. So, no,
fair
there's
enough.
a lot of you mentioned about sort of shooting at night. There's a lot of action in this and a lot of night shoots, I would imagine, which I would imagine must be, and it's a low budget film on a tight schedule, so I imagine it must have been quite an exhausting shoot.
It was, to be fair, it was it did. stretch and pull me quite a bit and challenge me this role. Um, yeah, it was working quite, you know, yeah, there was some night shoots, and because it felt a bit like Groundhog Day because it's really set over 1 or 2 days. This film, I really needed to. I didn't. Well, I always do with with a project, try and map out where I am so I can kind of come into each of the scenes that we're doing because you don't film in order a lot of the time, obviously.
Yeah.
So I need to know where I'm coming from. But this, because it was 1 day as well, you could just kind of sort of know where you're going. But it did feel a bit like Groundhog Day, like this one continuous day for like 13 days or 14 days, or whatever, how long we shot it for. So it was exhausting, and like also just keeping that level of like anxiety and adrenaline was kind of key for this. And I guess as an actor, you're breathing in different ways, and you know, yeah, I did feel quite exhausted after each day. To be fair, it's almost like your mind knows, but your body doesn't. So it's quite, finding ways of calming calming my nervous system a little bit, which which was helpful now, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are kind of a victim to a road rage snowplow driver of all things. I mean, what's been your own personal experience of road rage? Particularly, what Britain is like for people kicking off.
Gosh. Well, I live in London and I've driven a little bit around here, and yeah, it can be quite fraught, shall we say. Some people on the roads. So yeah, it can be a bit yeah, you got to watch yourself a little bit, I suppose, in London. But I mostly, travel on public transport a lot of the time, so it's just the connections are so much easier in London, aren't they? But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you got to watch the roads in London. Anyway, you got to be extra safe. This if this is anything, it's a commercial, I suppose, for road safety and everything.
Yeah, it's quite, quite. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one way of putting it, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
So your character as well is quite quite obsessed, if that's the right word, with tipping, how much they get tipped. Now I know, I live in London as well. I know there's not really the tipping culture here that there is in the US.
Hmm.
So how has the film sort of steered your view about tipping? And whilst filming, were there any stories that you heard that made you kind of for or against it?
I don't know how I feel about tipping. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously people should be paid a fair wage, and that shouldn't really come into things, really. Some people are. I feel like this is going back to like the Reservoir Dogs. What is it, Mr. Pink?
Yeah,
Why should I
smallest
tip
violin
these
in the
people, not
world.
these people? But it's true. Like people should be paid a fair wage, and that it really shouldn't be on the onus of the individual to make sure that somebody is paid correctly. Should be businesses or whatever. But I guess I've always well, not always, but that's the view I sort of hold now. But yeah, a lot of people, particularly in America, make their livings off tips, and that's quite in many ways a harsh reality. I think also a film like this, I mean, I'd say it's kind of I was going to say, I mean, I guess it's not like it is horror film, but it's kind of like almost like horror adjacent, or sort of it's got the sort of DNA of horror, and horror, like I guess historically, it's always been able to kind of shine a spotlight on the times that things are being filmed, and like the themes of which in this I think are quite important, like the sort of precarity of work, if you were to sort of look at it like that. And I think, yeah, there's a few like jump scares and some beautiful setups and action sequences as well. But the scary stuff aside, I think the other scary stuff is the things that people have to deal with every day that they're fearful of, sort of surviving and paying the bills, and you know, trying to survive in a system that's kind of rigged against them a bit. So I think that speaks to a lot of Lee's character quite a bit. Yeah.
So the way that this film kind of, without giving it away, but how it ends, there's a kind of a feeling that this is open to a follow-up, to a sequel. Is there any talk of that?
There's not been any talk on the ground, or I haven't been involved in any conversations about it, but I'm very close with Joey Palmer, who's the director. Um, no, there hasn't been any um, talk of that, but who knows? Who knows?